My story begins on a yoga mat in a parish centre in Booterstown. I was attending a class there for a Wim Hof breathing class. And I was sitting in the back of the room watching people come in, wondering what lay ahead. I'd been before. I knew Neil, the instructor, and I kind of had a rough idea of what the day had in store. But what I didn't know was that in that room sat the woman that I'm now in love with. Neil asked us to introduce ourselves, and one by one, each person in the room explained why they were there and what they were doing. And as it worked through the room, we heard from people telling us that they were CrossFit experts looking for a quicker recovery, or intrigued by the Wim Hof technique, or like myself, coming back for another visit, having been before. And as it kind of snaked its way around the room, the introductions got to a woman called Anna. And Anna said, with a crack in her voice, that she was there to work through grief she was going through, and that she was hoping to get some help from the meditation. So I decided that, having heard that, I'd reach out to her and mention her by name, and just tell her that I knew what she was going through, or at least I had an idea of what she was going through, and that I was going through similar. So when the introductions came around to me, I said, much like Anna, I'm going through a period of deep grief, and I'm here today to see if I can work through some of that. And that little decision has changed my life completely. In 2017, in April, my wife Leanne died from an epileptic seizure. She was 35 years old, and she was one of the most giving and friendly people I've ever met. And that day, my life changed in a way that I didn't expect, and in a way that destroyed everything that I'd been building up to at that point. So the question before me then was, where do I go from here? What do I do? How do I face this? There were a lot of questions. And I decided that I'd try and be positive, that I'd try and grow from the experience, and that I'd try and stay brave and open. So I did. Back in Booterstown, during the first break of the day, Anna came over to my yoga mat and introduced herself. And we had a little chat, and it turned out, in a strange coincidence, that she actually knew Leanne's brother. They'd lived in Sydney at the same time, and had both had children in the same maternity ward over in Sydney. And she'd seen Leanne's death and the ripple effect of it through her brother's eyes, and knew my story and had a broad idea of who I was. She told me her story and the pain she was in and what she was going through, and we connected. And that moment is something I believers in fate would say we were meant to meet that day. At the end of the class, everyone kind of went about their own business and left. And I made a point of seeking out Anna to talk to her. And it was awkward. I was nervous. I wasn't sure what was appropriate. You know, I was immediately attracted to the woman, but at the same time, there's all these feelings around what we've just shared and what could possibly happen or where could we possibly go. So I said to her, if she was interested in keeping in touch or meeting again, she could contact me on email. I was afraid to ask for a number. And sure enough, about a week later, I got an email from her. And we swapped numbers. We kept in touch. We tried to do a coffee or a walk. It didn't really happen. But instead, we decided to go to another breathing session together with Neil. And we ended up back at my house where we had dinner and our relationship began. And for us, that's something incredible. We were both, mid to late 30s. We've both had our worlds completely destroyed. Hers with 3 children in tow. And we were at a stage of grief and at a stage of our lives where we didn't think we'd find that person again or meet another person like it. And luckily we did. And slowly we fell in love. We started doing things again that we'd done with previous partners, and it was difficult. But that love overcame a lot of obstacles. We went to gigs again. We're both big fans of live music. We went to festivals and rebuilt ourselves through each other, leaning on each other. Recently, we were in the car coming home with the kids, and a song from La La Land came on. And I told Anna I was going to mention this tonight, and she wanted me to sing the first few bars, but that's not going to happen. But a song came on, and it reminded me very distinctly of the first time I saw that film in the cinema in Dunleary with Leanne. And we kind of half skipped and danced the way home with it, blaring out of Spotify. And that soundtrack's something very dear to me and very difficult for me to listen to. And Anna turned around and said she had a similar story, only she'd been dancing around her kitchen with her toddler in her arms on her own in the depths of grief. And it had been a positive song for her. So here's two adults at the bottom of their rope, in the toughest conditions they can be in, and we happened upon each other. And it just, for me, it shows the importance of being open, of being brave, of looking for other people, even when you're down. And I'm just really glad I made that choice that day to reach out and talk to her. That's my story.